Okay, in this video we're going to talk about something called function notation. So we've got a function f of x equals x squared plus 4x plus 5. So this is the highest degree here. The biggest exponent on the x is 2. So in this case we're dealing with a quadratic function. So the first thing we're going to do is figure out what f of 2 is. So let's take a minute and talk about what that means. So notice if we look between what we had originally, f of x equals x squared plus 4x plus 5, and what we've got in our question, we've got f of 2. So notice that first we had in brackets x, now in the brackets we've got a 2. So what this means, f of 2, is look at the original function that you had. Everywhere you see an x, erase it and put a 2. So what we're going to do first is we're going to rewrite the equation. Instead of x squared here, x is now equal to 2. So I'm going to put a 2. Plus, here we had 4 times x. Now, since x is 2, where we used to have x, we'll put a 2. And then plus 5. 5 didn't have any x's in it, so it's the same in this case. And so, now all we're going to do is simplify that down a little bit. So we've got 2 squared, that's just 4, plus 4 times 2, that's just 8, plus 5. So, 4 times 8 is 12, plus 5, 17. So we would say that f of 2 equals 17. There we go. Okay, but what if instead of having the 2 in the brackets, let's do another case where the 2 is outside of the brackets. We're still dealing with this equation, but this time we're going to have 2 f of x, and x is on the outside. So in this case, what this means is we've got our original function f of x being multiplied by 2. So what we have is 2 times all of the stuff from our original equation. So we had x squared plus 4x plus 5. Notice in this case we're not saying, like we said before, replace all your x's with 2. In this case, all our x's are coming along with us. So we've got 2 times the quadratic we had. All we're going to do is use the distributive property. We're going to take 2 and multiply it by everything, all the variables and all the numbers inside our brackets. So 2 times x squared be 2x squared plus 2 times 4x. 2 times 4 is 8x. 2 times 5, that would just be 10. And that's it. You're done. So I think that one's probably even easier than the first one, because really you only have to do one thing, and then if you wanted to leave your answer here, 2 times in brackets our quadratic, it's not wrong, it's just not simplified. So what if instead of either of those cases, now let's make it a little more difficult on ourselves. In our brackets we're going to have 2x. So, just like before, when we had something in brackets, every x you see, replace it with 2. This time we're going to replace that x and that x with 2x. So we had x squared, now it's going to be 2x squared plus 4x, x is now 2x, and 5 doesn't have an x in it, so it just comes along with us. So now we're going to simplify that a little bit. Remember that 2x squared, what that really means is 2x multiplied by itself. 2x times 2x. 2 times 2 is 4. X times x would be x squared plus 4 times 2 be 8x plus 5. And yeah, I think that's as far as we're going to leave our answer for that guy. So now we're going to do one that's going to be a lot more painful. So we've got f of x minus 2. So everywhere where we had x in our original equation gets replaced with x minus 2. So now we've got x minus 2 in brackets squared plus 4 x minus 2 plus 5. And so I think the first thing we're going to do is simplify what we've got right there, x minus 2 squared. So that's x minus 2 times x minus 2, right? That's what square means. Multiply it by itself. So we're going to need to do some foiling to figure out what this is. So first we're going to go x times x. That's x squared, x times negative 2. That's negative 2x. Now we're going to deal with our negative 2. Negative 2 times x is negative 2x. And negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. And so let's simplify that a little bit. We've got x squared, negative 2x minus 2x. Those are like terms. We've got x just to the power of 1 in each case. Negative 2x minus 2x would just be negative 4x plus 4. Okay, so that was just the first part right there. So now let's do this guy. This one's not so bad, just a distributive property. Take your 4 and multiply it by everything in brackets. And don't forget that your positive sign comes along for the ride with you. And so we've got plus 4x minus 8 for that one. And then plus 5 just comes along with us. So now we've got all this stuff down here. We're just going to try and simplify that a little bit. So x squared, I don't have any other term that has x to the power of 2 in it, so that one you can't simplify any farther. And then we've got negative 4x and a plus 4x. If I add negative 4 plus 4, that's just 0. So those terms are actually going to cancel out for us. That's kind of nice. And then we've got plus 4 minus 8 would be what? Negative 4 plus 5, negative 4 and 5, just be positive 1. So after all that work, we've got